GCS scoring nga po, mga Brenda, brain damage, ni, patay na, ganyan, charot. Welcome back everybody to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Nia Gavin. I'm a registered nurse and I do have a degree in medical surgical nursing. I create educational contents to other nursing students to help with their studies. If that's something that you are interested in, consider subscribing. If you're already a subscriber though, thank you so much for your love and support. I see you. I upload my videos every single day. Don't miss that out. Subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell so that you will be the very first to watch my newest uploads. Also, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and share with your friends because that will really help me know that you like to see more contents like this. Without further ado, let's jump into the video. Anong ganap mo? Yes. Kagaya nung nakita mo sa title ng video na to, we are going to discuss about Glasgow Coma scale. Yes. GCS scoring nga po, mga Brenda, brain damage, ni, patay na, ganyan, charot. Hindi. Pag-uusapan natin, I will provide you a thorough discussion about how are you gonna remember effectively and easily ang GCS scoring. Now, let this video be your reviewer para sa iyong pag-memorize. Ano ba talaga? Para sa iyong pagre-review about sa GCS scoring. Now, in order for me to do that, let me switch back to my PC and I'll see you guys in a bit. Hi everybody! Welcome nga sa ating formal discussion ng iyong Glasgow Coma scale, ang ating GCS scoring. Alright, so before further proceed, I would just like to give you a quick overview on what to expect on this module. First, we're gonna have definition of terms. I-define natin na, huwag kayong mag-alala. We're gonna answer the question when to use your GCS or your Glasgow Coma scale, and how to calculate a patient's Glasgow Coma scale score or yung ating computation or calculation in GCS scoring, interpretation, and we're gonna have a short quiz. Okay, now ready ka na? Let's proceed. So what is GCS? Now just to give you a quick background, you guys, the Glasgow Coma scale o yung ating ang GCS is designed in 1974 pa. So matagal na nga itong practice, mga mamshi. Let me change man. So 1974 pa siya nag-start. Ayan, good luck naman sa ating penmanship. Now, this is a tool that has the ability to communicate the level of consciousness of patients with acute or traumatic brain injury. This is developed by Graham Tisdale and Brian J. Jennett. Now, these are professors of neurosurgery at the University of Glasgow Institute of Neurological Sciences. Now, this scale is the gold standard. Guys, gold standard. Pay attention to this. Lagay ko na lang dito, standard. Yes, standard. Like I said, this is a gold standard used for all acute medical and trauma patients. Now, you guys, GCS is the most widely used diagnostic tool. Yes, tama nga po kayo mga nurses. This is a diagnostic tool. Ano yung minimeasure niya? Ano yung dinadiagnose niya? This diagnose the level of consciousness and injury severity in those who have sustained, mind you guys, traumatic. Push mo, girl! Yes. Traumatic brain injury. The test has proved so enduring because of its simplicity, reliability, and objectivity. It is used as a crude predictor of recovery level. Again, ano yung characteristics ng iyong GCS? It is simple, it is reliable, and it is very objective. Yes, it is very objective. Why? Because it requires you to observe for, the responses of your patients. Now, I'm going to teach you in a bit what are those responses, but I would just like to give you a brief overview on what is GCS all about. Okay, now Glasgow Coma scale, which can identify changes to the consciousness in traumatic brain injury patients, is a tool that requires nurses to fully understand its purpose and how to use it. Identifying the patients that require scoring is the first step in properly using the scale. Now, on the next slide, we're going to identify who are those patients who needs GCS scoring. So nakikita mo to. Saan to? Kadalasan sa ICU, right? So, may idea ka na. So, sagutin natin na tanong. When to use GCS? The patients who need a GCS assessment have generally suffered in a traumatic brain injury. Again, yung mga pasyente daw na nag-suffer from brain injury. Traumatic brain injury. Yes. Tama ka dyan. And either in the ER or ICU. Okay, so nasagot na natin yung unang tanong. Ano-ano yung mga pasyente or sino-sino yung mga pasyente yung kinailangan pwede natin paggamitin ng ating GCS assessment? Yung mga may traumatic brain injury. At kadalasan ito, makikita mo ginagamit ito sa ER. But at ICU, ano bang meron sa ER? Diba sa ER kadalasan ito yung mga emergency cases, yung mga vehicular accident. Sa ICU naman, makikita mo din yung mga pasyenteng may mga chronic diseases, yung may mga comatose patients, sila yung kadalasang ginagamitan natin ng GCS scoring. Why? Because we want to assess their level of consciousness. Their level of consciousness will really determine or measure their recovery level. Now, an initial GCS should be done at the time of admission and then every 4 hours unless otherwise indicated, of course, by a medical team. The documentation of GCS is crucial since the medical team, which generally includes the neurologist, will use this to determine improvement of or decompensation of the patient. Basically sa documentation, importante, pinopoint out lang dito yung baseline assessment. Diba ganun naman tayo? Kailangan meron tayong baseline vital signs. Parang ganun din yun when it comes to GCS. What is the point of having your initial GCS scoring? Because this will serve as your baseline data. Why? For the purpose of comparison, malalaman mo kasi kung nagde-deteriorate yung pasyente mo or may progress ba. Okay, next proceed. How to calculate your GCS score. In order for you to understand and to know how to calculate GCS correctly and effectively, you need to understand the 3 criteria or categories of GCS. Okay, kung hindi ka pa nakakita ng GCS, ito siya, ayan very simple table, very objective, and very reliable. So as you can see, there's, ano ba yung mga criteria na sinasabi ko, ayan 1, 2, 3. Yes, meron nga tayong eye-opening, best verbal response, and motor response. Each behavior or criteria, meron tayong corresponding responses na tinitingnan sa ating pasyente na ino-observe natin. Don't worry because we're going to discuss that in a bit. Now, this is just a simple illustration of GCS, including the behavior, the response, and its numerical equivalent. Ito nga po siya. Now, before we further proceed, you guys, I would just like to point out that may bagong update when it comes to GCS scoring.
OMG!
First, you need to check for what? Check for interfering factors. Before you further proceed with your assessment, check mo muna baka may mga factors na pwedeng mag-interfere sa result ng iyong GCS scoring. Ano-ano yung mga factors na yon? Bubulol ka, girl. Tatalakayin natin yan sa mga susunod nating slides. Now, you need to observe. Ano na yung observe mo? Pagtapos mo i-check kung yung mga interfering factors, yung mga responses. And then, kapag hindi nag-ubra sa observation, you need to stimulate. Ayan. Perfect. And then, that's the time that you're going to rate. Those ratings were basically this numerical equivalence, all of this, okay? Once again, check, observe, stimulate, rate. Tandaan mo tong sequence na to when it comes to GCS kasi basically ito yung sequence of actions ng mga nurses, okay? Check, observe, stimulate, and rate. Next slide na tayo. Now, when it comes to GCS, the easiest way for me to remember this concept is this theory. So, tandaan mo na sa GCS may 3 criteria. We will going to break it down in 3 categories based on the behavior elicited by your patient. We will discuss each in a bit. So, kalma ka lang, ha? Now, the way I remember it is by remembering the highest score for each criteria. So, ayan yung eyes. Ayan yung mouth, yung verbal response, and ayan yung motor response. So like I said kanina, sabi ko, di ba, kung paano ko siya tinatandaan ko lang lagi yung highest score per each criteria. So sa eyes, ilan ba? 4. Sa mouth, ilan? 5. Sa motor response, 6. So mapapansin mo, 4, 4, 5, 6. And then, I kinda like, sinusunod ko na yung categories. Eye, motor, eye, verbal, motor. So, tinitingnan ko to. E, nilalagyan ko siya ng mnemonics. E, V, saan ko ba lalagay yung V? V, M. So, E, V, M. E, V, M. Pag sinabing GCS, may tatlong criteria yon. So, ano yung titingnan ko doon? Yung eyes, yung mouth, and then yung motor. Paano ang numbering ko doon? 4, 5, 6. So, ibig sabihin nun, sasabihin ko sa sarili ko, wala na palang, pag titingnan ko yung eye response, hindi ako pwede mag-exceed. Ang highest ko doon is 4. So, wala akong score na 5. Kailangan 4 yung highest. 4, 3, 2, 1. Sa motor, sa verbal, ano makikita ko doon? 5 criteria, 5 responses. High score ko is 5. So, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sa motor response, ang highest score ko doon is 6. Ito nga, 6. So, kailangan ng score ko doon maglalaro lang sa 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. E, V, M. 4, 5, 6. One more time. 3 criteria sa yung GCS. E, V, M. 4, 5, 6. Diba? Mas madali. I suggest you make a screenshot of this para magamit mo siya as a reviewer, okay? So, himayin na nga natin siya. Ito na nga ang ating GCS scoring. Unahin na natin yung ating eye opening response. Like I said, paano mo siya matatandaan? Anong high score mo? 4. Ayan. So, ito yung mga numerical equivalent niya, 4, 3, 2, 1. So, we're going to define each. Sa eye opening mo, you're going to score 4 if the eye opening is spontaneous. Meaning, yung wala, inoobserbahan mo pa lang siya. Naalala mo yung sinabi ko kanina na check. Lagyan ko lang dito check, observe, stimulate, and then rate. Bakit naging B? Rate. Tandaan mo to kasi ito yung concept na gagamitin natin. Check, observe, stimulate, response rate. Sorry. Spontaneous ang scoring mo kapag naobserbahan mo sa pasyente mo na ang eye opening ng yung pasyente is spontaneous, meaning hindi ka pa naglalagay ng stimulation, gumagalaw siya ng kusa niya. Yung parang normal na pagpilik ng mata at pagbukas ng mata, ang score mo automatic 4. Now, kapag naobserbahan mo na hindi gumagalaw ang mata ng pasyente mo, walang spontaneous eye movement, what you gonna do? You add stimulation. May dalawang way kung ano yung mga pwede mong i-add ng stimulation. Pwede kang sound or you can apply pressure. You will score your patient 3 kapag nag-respond siya sa sound. Now, this is after spoken request. What you're gonna do, nurses, is you can start by introducing yourself and ask your patient to open his or her eyes. Kapag nag-response or umopen ang eyes ng pasyente mo sa iyong command to open his or her eyes, ang score mo automatic 3. Alright? Now, paano naman kung hindi nagre-respond sa sound? Next mong stimulation, you can add pressure. Pressure po. So, hindi tayo successful sa sound. Maybe you can try to apply pressure. Now, you can do this after fingertip stimulation. After fingertip stimulation and then the patient open his or her eyes, you can give that patient a GCS score of 2. Paano mo i-record to? E2. Meaning, eyes, score of 2. Ganon din dito, E4. Importante yung letter nito kapag nagsuscore ka kasi para ma-communicate mo siya well, di ba? Importante yung documentation. Pwede kasi magkaroon ng confusion kapag nilagay mo lang dyan 4 sa documentation. How will you apply pressure to your patient? Or how can you do this? Well, it normally starts by applying peripheral pressure to fingers in an increasing intensity for 10 seconds. Wow. Pag nag-open ang eyes ng pasyente mo to pressure, automatic, ang score mo is 2.
Yes!
Now, you will score none if you didn't observe spontaneous eye opening, if the patient didn't open his or her eyes to sound, and kapag nag-apply ka na ng pressure and wala pa ring eye opening, the score mo is 1. Now, you can also note here NT.
What?
Kapag close by local factor, ano-ano yung mga local factor mo? Kapag may mga eye swelling, for example, of course, yun yung mga pwedeng maging factor to affect your eye opening. Kapag may periorbital edema, yung mga ganyan, may mga facial swelling, of course, hindi talaga makakapag-open ng eyes ang iyong pasyente. Sabi ko sa'yo, di ba, tandaan mo tong check, observe, stimulate, and then rate. Kasi unahin mo muna yung check. Baka nga naman may eye swelling kaya hindi nag-open ang eyes ng pasyente mo. Kapag may ganun, may mga factors na ganun, you can score it NT. Okay, dito na tayo sa ating GCS scoring ng verbal response. Ready ka na? Let's do this. Okay. So, sabi ko sa verbal response, ang highest score mo is 5. Na again, balik tayo dun sa concept na check, observe, score or stimulate, and then rate. Check, observe, stimulate, rate. Alright. The best response is 5. This means that your patient is oriented to person, time, and place. Person, place, time. So kapag tinanong mo yung pasyente mo kung nasaan ka ngayon, anong pangalan mo, anong araw na ngayon, at nakasagot yung pasyente mo, ibig sabihin, oriented ang yung pasyente. Kilala niya kung sino siya, hindi siya na amnesia. Okay, ang score mo nun is 5. Now, if you will score your patient 4, if you noticed or if you observed na ang iyong pasyente is having confused conversation, the patient responds to questions in a conversational manner but some disorientation and confusion. Now, how will we give example for this? Let's say you ask your patient, "What is your name?" And then the patient says, "I'm confused. I don't know. I don't know who I am." Who I am? Gusto mo yon? Yung mga ganun, yung parang nalilito ang iyong pasyente. Yun yung ibig sabihin ng confused. Lito ka, girl. Pag tinanong mo, ilang taong ka na, hindi ko alam. 45, 65, mahilig ako sa 5, ma'am. You will score your patient 3 for inappropriate speech. Now, random or exclamatory articulated speech but no conversational exchange. So, paano yun? Bawa, sinabi mo, "Sir, what is your name?" Banana. Yun ang response sa pasyente mo. "Sir, how are you feeling?" Chicken. Gutom pa naman. Yung mga ganun, yung inappropriate speech, yung lumilihis yung sagot niya, automatic ang score mo nun is 3. Now, you will score your patient 2 kapag incomprehensive speech. Sounds. Yung nagmamumbling, moaning, but no words. Bawa, inask mo yung pasyente mo, "Sir, can you tell me your name?" Yung mga nagwawako-wako yung pasyente mo, mga ganon. Okay? You will score your patient none kung wala talagang verbal response. If the patient is intubated, or a derived verbal score is calculated via linear regression prediction or no verbal response. Again, you need to check for factors that could affect the result or the rating of your verbal response. Ano-ano ba itong mga check na to? Mga dapat mong i-check. Kung naka-intubate ba? Of course. Maasahan mo ba makapagsalita yung pasyente mo kung may tubo yan? Siyempre, hindi makakapagsalita yan. Ikaw kaya. Kalma! Kung naka-tracheostomy, i-check mo rin yon. Kasi pwede yung maka-affect sa result ng iyong GCS scoring. Next na tayo. Dito tayo sa motor response.
Laban na yan.
Eto siya, mga moms. Kita mo ba siya? Motor. Once again, gusto ko tandaan mo yung concept ng check, observe, stimulate, rate. Okay. So, highest score mo sa motor response mo, like I said, is 6. Now, if your patient obeys command, the automatic scoring, as per GCS guideline, is 6. The patient does simple things. Now, if you ask, let's say, for example, if you ask your patient, "Sir, can you grab my hands for me?" Grab. Gusto mo yung grab? You can ask your patient, "Sir, can you squeeze my hand for me?" If your patient was able to obey your command, you can give that patient a score of 6. Next, dito tayo sa localizing with a score or rating of 5. Meaning, a localizing response to pain. Now, purposeful movements towards changing painful stimuli is localizing response. Towards po, ibig sabihin, papunta doon sa source ng pain, towards changing painful stimuli. Next, normal flexion po, with a score or with a rating of 4. Now, this is also called withdraws to pain response. Pulls limb away from painful stimuli. So, ito yung ating normal response. Di ba pag nasasaktan tayo normally, we tend to pull our body away from that pain. Bawa, napasok ka. Hindi mo naman talaga ibibigay pa yung kamay mo doon sa, bawa, napasok kawali, ilalapit mo pa siya doon. Diba ang normal response is you pull that body part away instead of towards. Ito yung pinagkaiba nila. Kapag localizing pain, anong ginagawa ng pasyente mo? Yung body extremity niya o yung body parts niya papunta doon sa painful stimuli. Bawa, naglagay ka ng pain, nag-apply ka ng pain sa kanyang shoulder, sa right shoulder. Ang ginagawa ng localizing pain or scoring ng 5 under motor response is yung movement na ginagawa ng pasyente mo. Bawa, yung extremities niya, yung hands niya is towards that right shoulder. Kapag normal flexion, ang movement na ginagawa ng pasyente mo, bawa, he kind of like move away from that right shoulder. Kung sa right shoulder ka, right trapezius muscle ka nag-apply ng pain. So, withdraws to pain. Ginagawa tong normal flexion na to, or the best way for you to actually test this is applying central stimulus. Yung kagaya nga nasabi ko sa trapezius muscle. Then, isa pang pwede mong pag-applyan ng central stimulus is yung supraorbital nudge. Now, you can apply pressure in an increasing level for 10 seconds. Yung meaning mag-start ka sa right shoulder, and then kapag walang response ang pasyente o kapag may response yung pasyente mo, nag-withdraw siya sa pain dun sa right shoulder mo, you can automatically grade that patient 4. Meaning pulls limb away from the pain. Makikita mo yung movement, papunta na yung movement ng pasyente mo. Kung nag-apply ka sa right trapezius muscle, ang movement ng body ng pasyente mo is pa-left. Kasi nga away. Sa localizing, kapag nag-apply ka ng central pain sa trapezius muscle, ang movement ng pasyente mo, kung sa right ka nag-apply ng pressure increasing pressure, is papunta rin sa right. Gets? Okay. Now, we have here number 3. Paano naman yung number 3? Itong abnormal flexion. Now, let's define this. Ito nga yung ating abduction of arm, internal rotation of shoulder, pronation of the forearm, and wrists flexion. Ano to? Ano tong abnormal flexion na to? Decorticate. Familiar ka ba? Narinig mo na? Decorticate. Okay, decor na lang. Pag-aaralan natin hihimayin natin ng decorticate na yan. Next, we have extension. Ano naman yung extension? Kabaliktaran siya ng decorticate. Ito ang ating decerebrate. Now, extension posturing to pain. The stimulus causes limb extension. Yung kanina, flexion, ito naman extension. Anong ginagawa sa decerebrate? Abduction, internal rotation of shoulder, pronation of forearm, wrists, and extension. This posture is what you call decerebrate posturing. Now, for you to really understand this one, we will going to have a versus. So, decerebrate versus decorticate. Paano mo nga ba siya mas matatandaan? Okay, let's discuss each. When you talk about decerebrate or what we call the extensor, tandaan mo to. Ito po yung itsura niya. Pansinin mo yung limbs nag-extend. Yung arms, ano nangyayari sa arms? Nagfo-form ng letter E. Fly away yung arms. Now, extensor posturing to pain. The stimulus causes limb extension, abduction, internal rotation of shoulder. Ito yun, pronation of forearm. Ito. And wrist extension. Now, paano ko siya tinatandaan ng madali? Diba? Decerebrate. Ang daming iyo. Decerebrate, decerebrate, de-extension, extensor. Mapapansin mo, nag-e-extend lahat. Extend ang legs, nag-e-extend ang wrist, nag-e-internal rotation ang shoulder. Abduction, decerebrate, decerebrate ang hands nagfo-form ng letter E, palabas. Ayan Na ano naman ang iyong decorticate flexor? Decorticate flexor, decorticate. This is your abnormal flexor response to pain. Stimulus causes abnormal flexion of limbs. Ano yung mga ginagawa? Abduction of the arm. See this? Internal rotation of the shoulder. This. Pronation of the forearm. This. Wrist flexion. This. Mapapansin mo rin yung paa niya, papasok ang movement mo kapag nag-apply ka ng pain. So, ito kapag once na nag-apply ka ng pain, nag-apply ka ng stimulus, saan? You can apply stimulus here, sa shoulder niya, and then, kung hindi naman contraindicated, you can apply here sa supraorbital nudge. Tapos, mag-elicit ng ganitong response sa pasyente mo, decorticate. Again, ang score mo kapag decorticate is 3, right? Okay. Decorticate flexor arms form like letter C. Alam mo yung C, Letter C. Ayan, moms. Letter C. Decorticate. Flexor arms form like letter C moves towards the cord. So, yung arms niya, spinal cord, yun ang ibig sabihin nun. Kapag merong decorticate flexion, pwede mong masabi na ang pasyente mo or isa to sa mga indication na merong cervical spinal tract or cerebral hemisphere problem ang iyong pasyente.
OMG!
Kapag naman, nakalimutan ko lang. Kapag naman decerebrate, ano yung indication nito? Your patient is probably suffering from midbrains or pons problem.
Hindi.
Okay. Now, how to interpret GCS scores? Paano nga ba tayo mag-i-interpret? Simple lang, parang 1 plus 1 lang yan. Charot! Let's have classification of brain injury. Now, every brain injury is different, but generally, brain injury is classified as severe.
OMG!
Ito siya. Ang GCS scoring mo dito, let me change my cursor. Pwedeng naglalaro ang score mo. Yung total overall score po to, ma'am, siya 3 to 8. Now, this is usually for patients. Saan mo makikita itong mga GCS scoring na to? Sa mga pasyenteng nasa ICU, yung mga comatose patient. Next, we have moderate. Ang GCS score mo dito is normally nasa 9 to 12. Saan mo makikita to? Sa mga may minor trauma injury, brain injury sa pasyente. Makikita mo rin to sa mga patients na maganda yung progression sa ICU or kadalasan sa ER din. Mga minor emergency cases natin sa ER. We have mild. Ang GCS scoring mo dito is 13 to 15. So see? Highest possible score mo sa GCS is 15. 15. Highest. This is the highest. What is your lowest GCS score? Is 3. Na normally po, masasabi mong comatose ang pasyente mo kapag naglalaro sa 3 to 8 ang GCS score. Comatose patient po yan. Ibig sabihin, very poor ang iyong GCS score. Once again, anong classification ng brain injury mo? 3. Severe, moderate, mild. Ito yung mga pictures nila para mas ma-retain sa iyong utak. At kapag severe, ang scoring mo again 3 to 8, moderate 9 to 12, mild 13 to 15. Highest score mo for GCS is 15. Ang lowest mo is 3. So, pag ang pasyente mo may GCS score ng 3 to 8 automatic, ang indication niyan or ang interpretation niyan ay severe brain injury which could be possibly comatose patient, yung mga nasa ICU. Now, let's just have a quick review. Patapos na pala tayo. Now, before the short quiz, I would just like to give you this very, very quick review para mas lalo mo siyang matandaan, okay? Once again, sa ating GCS scoring, ang dapat mong tandaan is itong concept na to. Check, observe, stimulate, and rate. Okay, before ka mag-proceed sa iyong 3 categories. Okay, ano yung titingnan mo pag sinabing GCS scoring? Eyes response, verbal, motor, E, V, M. 3 categories. 1, 2, 3. Highest possible score ko sa eyes is 4. So, ibig sabihin, hindi ako tataas doon. Highest possible score ko sa verbal, 5. Highest possible score ko sa motor, 6. 4, 5, 6. E, V, M. 3 categories. Sa eyes, ano yung mga titingnan ko? 4, spontaneous. 3, sound. Response to sound. 2, to pressure. None. 1 ang scoring mo. Kapag merong mga factors, interfering factors, pwede ko ilagay what? NT. Verbal response, ang highest possible score ko is V5. Number 5 ang pwede kong high score. Meaning, 5 kapag oriented, kapag confused ang pasyente, mali-mali ang sagot, hindi niya alam kung nasaan siya, hindi siya oriented. Number 4. 3 again, ano yung 3? Kapag ang iyong pasyente ay mga may inappropriate words. Halimbawa, tinanong mo siya, Sir, anong pangalan mo? Saging. Ganun ang sinagot. O, diba, mahilig ka talaga sa saging.
Baklang
Sounds, kapag nagka-create na mga mumbling sounds, kapag yung mga unrecognized sounds, nagmumumble lang yung pasyente. 1, kapag walang verbal response. Kapag may mga factors that could interfere the result, pwede mo ilagay NT.
Oh no!
Ano yung mga factors na yon? Tracheostomy, intubation, kapag naka-intubate ang pasyente mo. Of course, can you put it there, NT.
Hello.
Tapos, sa motor, 6M. 6 million. 6M, again, high score mo 6. 6, bibigay mo kapag obeys to command. Sir, can you squeeze my hand? 6 ang score ng localizing to pain, meaning moving towards the pain. Kung nag-apply ka ng pressure sa right shoulder, ang pressure or ng stimulus sa iyong right shoulder, ang gagawin ng pasyente mo, yung mga limbs niya o yung body niya magmo-move towards sa left shoulder. Kung ang pain na nilagay mo ay sa left trapezius muscle, ang movement ng body mo is towards, papunta sa left side ng body. Normal flexion, kapag ang body ng pasyente mo is nagmo-move away from the painful stimuli. Meaning, nag-apply ka ng pressure sa, for example nag-apply ka ng pressure sa left shoulder. Ang movement ng pasyente mo is saan papunta? Sa right. Movement ng body ng pasyente mo is papunta sa right kasi pulls away from this painful stimuli. Abnormal flexion mo, ano ito? Flexion mo, ito ang iyong decorticate. Decorticate. Nakita mo naman yung picture kanina, di ba? Extension. Abnormal extension. Decerebrate. Forms letter C. Forms letter C. Forms letter C, ano yon? Flexion. Forms letter E, hands. Forms letter E, extension. Decerebrate. Kapag wala ka nakitang response after giving painful stimuli or after giving stimulus to your patient, number 1.
Oh, hindi.
Okay? Once again, that was your Glasgow Coma scale. Very quick lang. Kapag nagdo-document ka, pag sa eyes, anong lalagay mo? E plus yung equivalent numerical scoring. Bawa, E4. Kapag pwede rin E4, 3, 2, 1. Ganon. E4, E3, E2, E1. Para magkaroon ng clear communication between healthcare teams. Now, pag verbal, ano lalagay mo? Bawa, V5. 5, 4, V4, V3, and so on and so forth. Kapag motor, paano mo i-document yan? M, 6, M5, M4, and so on and so forth. Ganun ha, kailangan clear yung documentation. Kapano mo naman i-document yung total score? Pwede mo lang siya i-document as, 15. Ayan. Lalagay mo siya dyan. Bawa, saan ko na siya isusulat? Okay, bawa dito. Ang score mo dito is sa eyes is 2. Sa verbal, your score is, let's say 5. Sige, 5. V5. Sa motor mo, ang scoring mo is 6. Example lang to ha. Pwede mo, ganyan ang documentation mo. E2, V5, M6. Ang scoring mo, 6 plus 5, 11, 12, 13. Total score mo, 13.
Wow!
13. Yes. Ganun lang. Ganun mo siya i-document. So, anong interpretation na to? Ito niroang kita, di ba? 13 to 15 is your, mild. May 3 categories po ng brain injury, di ba? Naalala mo yung severe, moderate, and mild. Now, ready ka na ba sa ating short quiz? Eto na. Short quiz po ito na bibigyan kita ng 5 minutes to answer this. I'm gonna give you like a table for you to fill in the blanks. Fill in the blanks. Laban na. Balikan kita after 5 minutes, babe. Okay. Hi everybody, kumusta? Ano, buhay ka pa? Buhay ka pa ba? Oh, kinaya mo ba? Medyo challenging to. Ginawa ko talaga to para mas maalala mo, ha? Nandito na rin siya. Kung gusto mo after natin sagutan, i-screenshot mo to, ha, baby? Para meron kang reference. Okay, sagutan na natin to. Eye-opening. Ano to? Spontaneous. Next, 3 to sound. 2 to pressure. 1 ay yung noun. Sino nakatama lahat? Dito sa eye-opening, very good. Nakatama ka ba, Laverne? Next, verbal. Oriented bang pasyente mo? Scoring mo 5. Kapag 4, confused. Kapag 3, words. Kapag 2, sounds. Kapag 1, none. Ano tong 6? Motor na tayo, ha? Obey commands. 5, localizing. Ang bilis, girl. Are you following? 4, normal flexion. 3, abnormal flexion. 2, extension. And inyong 1, kapag none. Ayan po siya. Guys, maraming salamat po sa pakikinig at sa panonood ng video na to. I hope you guys have learned something out from this. Maraming salamat po ulit sa pagsuporta. Yung first 5 videos na create ko for nursing yung aking nursing educational content, I received a lot of good feedback and support from you guys. Maraming salamat po. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel po for more nursing educational videos. I am planning to commit uploading videos po 2 to 3 educational nursing contents per week. So please give me some love, show me some love, put down any comments that you want me to do or any lectures that you want us to have on our next uploads, huh? Thank you so much you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. Help me grow my channel. #TeamKulto. Give this video a big thumbs up and share it with your friends. Let me know what you guys think. Put them down in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to check out the other playlists I created for you. I'll be putting the links on the description box or simply click this icon button right here. Let's connect. Follow me on all my other social media accounts. Everything is at Neil Gave. I'll see you again.